We will not go through the vocabulary. Hopefully you can do all of those. Number 2, a DNA strand has the following sequence of nucleotides. What will the mRNA strand sequence be? So in this case, it would be C, G, U, U, A, C. Correct? Everybody's okay with that? How many how many amino acids will that mRNA code for? You tell me. 2. Very good. How many codons will the mRNA have? 2. What are the anticodons for that? And so it would be, once again, G, C, A, U, C, wouldn't it? Okay. Let's see. Then you go fill in the blanks. What's A? From DNA to RNA. Transcription. What's B? Translation. Number 4. An RNA strand has an anticodon. Is it a tRNA or an mRNA? tRNA. Protein synthesis is occurring at the ribosome. Is this transcription or translation? Translation. Suppose scientists determine that a set of genes is significantly more prevalent in murders than in the general population. Would that mean that the murderers are not at fault for what they do? No, absolutely not. Okay, because they can choose. Number 7, if you look under a microscope and see distinct chromosomes in a cell, is the cell in interphase? No, and you don't have to explain why. You need to know look at number 9. You need to be able to identify these and then be able to put them in order. So what's the first one? Telophase. What's the second one? Prophase. What's the third one? Metaphase. What's the fourth one? Anaphase. And so if we were putting them in order, it'd be prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, right? Number 10. The diploid number of a cell is 16. What's its haploid number? 8. Okay, total number, diploid number. Haploid number is the number of pairs. 11. The haploid number of a cell is 9. What's its diploid number? 8. Good. You're good on that. What is the difference between a gamete and a regular animal cell?
The gamete has...
It's reproductive cell.
And what's genetically different about it?
It has no duplicates.
It's a haploid cell. Very good. A gamete, that's going to come up again on your next test. Not this chapter, the following chapter. You have to know that a gamete is a haploid cell. You have to know that. Just drill it in. Okay? And so a gamete is a haploid cell, whereas a regular animal cell would be a diploid cell, wouldn't it? It has the full complement of chromosomes. Okay, it's just list and order all the stages of meiosis. That should be easy. It's just prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1, prophase 2. It's just mitosis only with stages, right? Psh, not a big deal. But then it says, which is closer to meiosis? To mitosis. Meiosis 1 or meiosis 2?
Meiosis 2.
Right, because it's mitosis on 2 haploid cells. Very good. You ready? Here's the hard questions. 15. A single cell with 7 pairs of homologous chromosomes goes through meiosis 1. Okay. How many cells result at the end of meiosis 1? 2. Very good. And then it says, how many chromosomes exist in each cell? 7. Okay, because they're haploid now, aren't they? Are the chromosomes in each cell duplicated or not?
Yes.
Yes, they're duplicated because they don't get split apart until anaphase 2, do they? Okay, let's do the next one. 16. Now it gets really dicey. 4 cells that originally, prior to meiosis 1, had 7 pairs of homologous chromosomes go through meiosis 2. Okay, so we have 4 cells, and their haploid number is 7. And they are going through meiosis 2. How many cells result? Now, 8. Well, if they're 4, no, it says 4 cells prior to meiosis 1.
16.
So 4 cells are going to go through this process. How many cells are we going to come out with? 16, right? If it's a 1 to 4, and we start with 4 cells, we're going to end up with 16 cells, aren't we? Oh, I know.
What's the difference?
Okay, so the key there was when he said prior to meiosis 1, there were 4 cells. That means before you started. You see it, Maggie? Yeah. Okay. Then it says, so before we started, there were 7 pairs of homologous chromosomes in each one. We've determined that there would be 16 cells as a result. How many total chromosomes exist in each cell at the end of meiosis? If you started with 7, a haploid number of 7, because it says there were 7 pairs. When you get done with meiosis, how many chromosomes are going to be in those? 7, right? The number of pairs, 7. Are the chromosomes in each cell duplicated or not?
No.
No, because those are the hardest questions you will see this year. Right there, in my opinion. I mean, personally, I don't think there's a big deal identifying parts of a crayfish. You know, it doesn't take a lot of thought, just memory. This takes thought, doesn't it? And it's not hard, but it can be confusing, right? You know, you look at it and go, I got this, and you read that question and go, I don't got this. You know? So I'm telling you that I want you to, if you memorize it the way I've told you, it should help a little, that meiosis is one diploid turning into 4 haploids, that mitosis is one diploid turning into 2 diploids. That'll help you to answer certain questions on the test. You need to remember that these go in duplicated, and they don't get ripped apart until anaphase 2. You need to know that, okay? And you need to be able to answer those kind of questions. So, sorry. It's hard. 17, what are the gametes produced in male animals called? Sperm. What about the female? How many useful gametes are produced in meiosis of a male?
4.
How about the female?
1.
What is the difference between a polar body and an egg? Polar body is useless. The egg is viable. What gamete can move on its own?
Male.
Male. What is the purpose of the lytic cycle? Is to spread the virus, to reproduce and spread the virus. If the virus uses DNA as its genetic material, is it alive?
No.
No, because it can't reproduce itself. Number 23, a person decides to wait until he contracts measles before getting the vaccine. Will that help? No. No, because it's a defense, not an offense. Guys, study this. Oh, okay. Study this and go ahead and take this test. Do it carefully, do it prayerfully. So you'll have fun with the next chapter, okay?